All right, we're live now. Let's go. How y'all doing, everybody? We're talking about Undead this week,
That we are.
Yeah.
and we are. All right, we got all the jokes out of our system. We're going to stay serious the entire time because we are a serious
Exactly.
group of boys right here.
It's a serious fucking show, goddammit.
What the
And
hell
there goes
is
the
wrong
monetization
with
again, Mario. Every week.
Every week it's you saying something racist.
Wait, we can't get away with that. Only Mario can.
So Undead.
Oh,
How
yeah,
did they
Undead.
die? Why didn't they stay there?
How did I get here?
Why did my
Where-
eternal soul not come to rest? Why did I come back and crave something I can't explain? I can't verbalize. But it
Where
drives
did
me
my
awake
uncle
every
go?
waking minute. I don't sleep. I don't live. All I do is exist. What?
I buried him right here.
There we go, off the rails. But yeah, so
Get up.
but that's
Yeah.
something I want to talk about is Undead, is because it kind of goes into vampires, but it's so much more than
No.
that. Because most people I think
Yeah.
think it's zombies, but D&D has a lot of freaking undead, and it's
Oh,
kind of
yeah.
a staple
Yeah.
of the series. Since Vecna is one of the really standout things of the series, I would argue.
I really don't think that vampires should be able to like associate with zombies because of how drastically different they are. Like a vampire can raise a vampire spawn. Vampires shouldn't be able to
Yeah.
make zombies. That's a whole different ballpark.
That was fair.
Like, at that point, it's because it makes me think of that's if as vampires like commanding zombies, that more probably has to do with the fact of them, like, I don't know, in their past life just being a necromancer or some shit.
Yeah.
Which also,
Yeah.
on top of that, that's like, wouldn't they be a lich, or wouldn't they rather be a lich or something?
Yeah, I think it kind of comes down to
Less dramatic.
spellcraft when it comes to that. But there is a distinction I always thought was cool where you have like them worlds where like vampire bites have different effects on people. Like, because I think that was I think that's in some worlds. Every now and then you'll see where if someone gets completely drained of blood, it makes them come back to an undead, a ghoul, something like that. Like I know Rosario plus Vampire did that, where the main
I
character was
remember
turning
that.
into a ghoul. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so I guess a good way to kick it off, I want to ask both of your definitions of what a zombie is.
Straight up zombie, I would say, like,
Just a zombie, yeah.
mindless, kind of like my idea of a zombie, like mindless, slow, and just the scary thing about them just being like numbers, like they're fucking
Yeah.
like,
Yeah. Yeah, I'd say zombie would be like the mindless undead is usually what I kind of classify it as, because,
Yeah, it's not an affliction. Like the person's gone.
yeah,
It's just the
yeah.
body.
yeah,
Yeah, because where other undead, like liches, what are they called? Revenants, spirits,
Ghosts.
they usually have kind of some
Specters.
semblance of memory there, but usually zombies,
Yeah.
there is nothing to them. They're
Yeah.
just on primal instinct alone.
Yeah, I really like that. And then I guess a follow up, because this is the one thing that I don't have a good answer for. Why brains? Just why? Why brains? Why not anything
That-
else?
They crave what
I
they
think that
don't
has to
have.
do with I don't know the connections of like
I mean, them being mindless, that's not a satisfying answer for me. That's
Yeah.
not just like, oh, they want to get their thoughts back. It's like, no, they don't have them. Everyone else is allowed to
Also,
get their
they
thoughts
can be
back, like a
others.
vampire that gets too old. Yeah, for sure. Or like a. Yeah.
Yeah, I said it as a joke, but also thinking like I feel like that's one of the things that pop culture just like one thing did it, then if it just became the status quo over time of just what it was. Like in our conversations about Frankenstein's monster, how that the monster was very eloquent and well spoken, but every other depiction of the monster you see in modern media usually is the hulking brute and not
yeah.
what he actually was.
Oh,
Oh, go ahead.
so if you Google why do zombies eat brains, the first result is from Barley Creek Brewing Company. And it's just some say that they crave high serotonin levels found in recently alive brains, or it helps ease emotional pain, nutrition. Why? Is it just a thread at a bar? People doing this
Makes
conversation.
sense.
Yeah.
You know, that's kind of why we started recording, because it's just conversations we have normally, but I just tried to focus it slightly.
One thing.
It's like, because I'm trying to think of a good reason why the brain thing would be, because I feel like that legitimately is just a movie thing that just got real popular.
Like zombies, I don't think can eat. Like actually,
No, like
they wouldn't have digestive systems that function at all.
Like I said, I think it's just instinct for them. Like it's not like they're getting nourishment from it.
That would make me think that like a successful zombie just gets more and more like stomach bloated. Like they just get slower. Like that would be their natural
like fat bloated zombie.
Unlife cycle where they just kind of swell up like a tick and then they can't move.
You know, but also I've never seen like to that extent a zombie take down a person, just watermelon split their skull open, take out their brain, nothing else, and eat it, then just move on to the next person.
Like, the reason why I would think that they like are trying to attack, like, so outside of even like the D&D perspective where it's less of like zombies biting people and you become a zombie, zombies' whole purpose, which I'm pretty sure is the original like folklore idea, is just like they're just a undead servant. You tell them to do shit, they attack people for you if you want them to. But I know the idea of them like biting and like attacking people is probably less of a they're hungry thing and more of this is a disease that they're trying to spread, or this is like a thing that's trying to
that's what I was thinking, and I like while you were talking came up with what my answer would be, because for everything generally at the end of its life or unlife, the goal is to propagate. You want more of you after you're gone. So why would a zombie who only needs to bite you once to turn you into a zombie go for your brain? Why would they try and like masticate that, chew it up, and rip it out? And maybe because they're afraid that new zombies with fully intact, not rotten brains would be better than them.
Maybe.
Like maybe they just chew up a brain to make sure that you're another drone, another idiot like them.
That is interesting, because I feel like it's also something people don't really think about much, the degradation of zombies, because in every zombie apocalypse, like if it ever actually did happen, there would be a shelf life where eventually the bodies would just be unfunctional. After a while.
They would need to like stay moist or find a way to just keep their sinews like functioning. And that's my favorite thing about zombies, is that you can really get into the like functional body horror. Because I really don't like when like you chop off, say a lot of the time, like if you chop into a zombie here, it can still move this arm. No, it can't. It is a body. So if it does not have those muscles intact, like maybe it doesn't need a brain function, maybe there's, magic or whatever possessing it, but it would stop the ability to function those and connect it to whatever the center of that zombie is, which you can get really creative when you're like, okay, this thing is damaged this way, and naturally you start with the crawler zombies, who are just the top halves, who would eventually learn to hop, like in Gorilla Tag, the VR game. Like they would fucking hop around and like swipe at you. It'd be scary. So they would evolve because they don't feel pain. Each of them would evolve. I think there would be categories eventually of like a few different types that are really effective at what they do. And it would be like top halves or maybe bottom halves, or ones that have specifically been severed in half that are really good at hunting in some weird, hideous way.
Yeah,
kind of like Left 4 Dead style, where they all mutate in weird, like, various ways.
Yeah,
which I didn't like how Left 4 Dead was kind of like the person lived before their zombie fight ended up making them be what they were.
Because I guess if you look at it, zombies in that sense, it's kind of like I guess integrating this for like a D&D thing, you could do it in two ways. Where like one, it's like the disease idea, or it's like some sort of curse or something that's being like spread amongst people. Or like the full-on kind of magic-y thing of this is almost like another golem-esque type thing that you've resurrected, and that idea of like, oh, if you cut off like the zombie's hand, maybe that just becomes like a whole other entity and you get like the crawling hand thing.
Because that was the thought I had of where like would even the intelligence come from if the brain's already gone, like how would a crawling claw exist, or any other zombified body part?
Or headless zombies. You can't really like. There's no fun biological way to do it right unless it is like a hyper-reactive symbiotic blood type thing, where it would have to stop the natural blood flow. Say you cut off a hand, it would need to immediately coagulate the entry wound, and then find a way to circulate blood throughout the hand without the need for the body or a heart.
What if it's just the skin is what is actually infected itself? Since skin is an organ.
Oh, it's like tightening skin.
Yeah, that's like the one thing that separates them from skeletons. That's kind of fun.
Yeah, because I like that's like the thing of
Gross.
I like. There's like a couple undead that are a bit different that I like, where it's like I think there is, I forget what the hell it's from. It might be like Van Richten's or something, but I think there's like straight up an undead that is just straight up the skin, or it's like a boneless undead, and
I think
boneless.
Yeah, because that's what I was thinking. Because if you do, you can make like, I think I've made a gibbering mouther like that before. It literally was just a bunch of like flayed bodies, just like stitched together.
I would really want to do like paper knights. I'd like cut up and dry the skin into like sentient leather. Just have it like walk around and help you out. That'd be kind of cool.
They like start folding and shit, turning into different stuff.
It's just like a whole guy's skin that can.
Yeah, it's really nasty. It's well, I like this idea because it kind of goes into that concept on that to expand on, where it's like, who's the fucked up asshole that made this? Like, who's like fucking stripping people of skin and like drying them out and like stitching them up so that they're like these big flat sheets. They're like, yeah, so I made it so it's like fucking origami, so it just turns into stuff. That's pretty neat, right? Fucking
the first
look, flesh paper dragon.
I think a lot of it is just building and expanding on an existing idea. So if one guy finds out that you can like cut a hole in a zombie and the hole functions, you're like, okay, how far does this go? And the next guy is going to be like, okay, how far does that go? And then it gets crazy where you just
functions.
My just mind. Like a dragon-sized like flap of stitched human skin just soaring through the air. Literally, that's disgusting.
I thought of a really random one of what if the organs are functional after you take them out of the skin. And you just have one that's a giant, like, snake intestines hydra. It's just
my God,
bunch of ropey snakes, like, coming at you.
I like...
It's disgusting. But that's
you really have to dip into nonsense for zombies, because the easiest way to do it is, like, there's some fluid in their brain that functions with the body, and when you take off the head, blow up the brain, or do any of that, they're gone. I like the idea where it is slightly magical, where the definition of the zombie is just the biggest part left over.
Yeah.
So if you incinerate a zombie, cut off its hand, then it's just the hand. But like, so you could eventually get down to like the rest of the body's cut to ribbons, but the intestines just snake out, and you're like, when does this stop?
I really am liking this idea of it being a skin infection that like ends up taking over the body. That's kind of what I'm like.
It's like,
because whenever they pierce your skin, that's how you contract it.
Yeah. So,
a thing,
because it can flavor, it starts to rash, it just spreads over your whole body. Even to that say, sorry, Mario, go ahead.
No, it's all right. I was just gonna
like
say
a burn. That's cool.
Yeah.
A thing that I think about between zombies and skeletons is like the fact that there's like a difference in intelligence between them, where it's like, oh yeah, a skeleton can use weapons and stuff, but a zombie can't. And like the idea behind that is just like, oh, it's because whatever's controlling the zombie is still like it might still be using the brain in them and kind of like having them do these commands, but it's not that good. Versus a skeleton is like, oh, well, it doesn't have a brain in there that's like rotting and shit, so like they can put whatever they want in it. So it's just like, it just functions. It just works.
It just works.
It just works.
It just works.
Which would make more sense that, like, since skeletons are slightly stronger, that you would need a little bit more magic to command them properly. Which in D&D, that's not the way it is.
No, but it's like
skeletons make a lot less sense because, like, there's nothing binding those bones together.
Yeah,
no muscle.
They can.
Yeah, that can only be explained with magic with skeletons. Like, there's nothing else that would really make sense.
It's like I like the idea as well with skeletons, right? I like the goofy aspect in the sense of like you could probably smack the skull of a skeleton off and it would go after like the head, put it back on, and it's fine. Kind of thing.
Like the bokoblins.
Yeah.
That or Army of Darkness skeleton style. Those were just.
Oh yeah.
Still got to see that.
Evil Dead's undead in general are just fun. That's something that has a lot of creativity and just fun with their idea of the concept of undeath when it comes to possession, zombies, body horror. Like even the new Evil Dead had some crazy stuff in it. Where have y'all seen the new Evil Dead movie?
Not the newest one, I don't think.
I would actually recommend it. It was a really surprisingly good one.
Gotta watch it.
It did something I thought was cool with the setting where it was all set in an apartment complex and actually had.
That one. Yeah, it gets gruesome for those poor kids.
I know, like they did not pull any punches, and I always respect when a horror movie does that. And the very
Beat
final
up
zombie.
children.
Oh, sorry.
No, that was it. I like that they do that.
Yeah, the very final zombie where all of them just like actually just like lace themselves together by literally just ripping into each other's bodies and just like that way.
Awesome.
It was so brutal, but so cool. Like in the end, when you actually see it moving around, it was and
good like
stuff.
The fun stuff with that is just the idea of like again like that. What is the source of this? Is like some demonic bullshit where it's just like, okay, this makes sense.
Yeah, because Evil Dead is 100% demonic. That's like their whole thing is demons
If you
can't
can't
the world
chemically make sense of like a monster, then it's in media 9 times out of 10 it's a demon.
Yeah.
Nah.
Yeah, because Evil Dead, it's demons that can't enter the world through the physical body, so they enter it through bodies of either weak-willed individuals or undead.
Oh. Stupid camera.
Yeah.
Stupid camera. Stupid thing.
I think Logan's getting possessed, Mario.
I am Teehee. I'm evil.
Okay. All
You
right,
guys
Mario.
want to buy Bitcoin? You want to hear about crypto?
It was only a matter of time, the natural progression of the YouTuber.
Oh, God. One thing I was thinking about, if like there's nothing binding a skeleton together, you can again get really like down to the opposite of meat and potatoes. Like, what if you had a bone powder skeleton, where it's just like sand,
So
like really scary sand? Hold on, let me.
Oh hell! Oh damn! Can't just show your pussy on screen, dude.
Let's go.
Too bad. That's what you get.
But, I've played around with that in my D&D game, where there are times where sometimes my players will they'll make undead, but they'll grab, since the specification of the spell is a pile of bones. It doesn't specify like
a complete set.
Yeah, so there's been times where it's like there was a point where they fought a chimera and they removed they were like removing a bunch of stuff from it, like getting like horns and things like that. And one of my players asked me, "Can I make a skeleton from the bones of the chimera?" And I was like, "You can try." And the way that I played it was just like the idea of it was the spell always tries to make something humanoid. So it just fucking like grabbed the skull of the chimera and it grabbed like these goat legs and like these arms and shit. So it was just like this like big unit, and like there was like a snake tail that it had. So like one of the arms was this long snake head and the other arm was just like a bunch of bullshit. And I gave it like special abilities and shit because of that. But it's like I like that aspect where it's like I feel like if somebody did have like, oh yeah, I just have grounded bone dust, does this work? I would like the idea of just like, yeah, this is like a dust skeleton. It's like humanoid shaped, but it's like constantly like shifting around. Like it's like this sand.
Like creepy.
Yeah.
So something that made me remember that can y'all remember what that summon is in D&D, where you basically summon, I think it's a Megan, where you summon a blue spellcaster thing?
Blue spellcaster thing. No.
I cannot remember their name. They were introduced in Icewind Dale, but what some of the so my players when they were making it, what they did was spell components as a Violet Quicksilver, and they just killed a fiend, a pit fiend, and I was letting my players do some pretty creative stuff with the monsters they were killing and making stuff out of it, stuff like that. And the wizard was like, what if in the Quicksilver I mixed the fiend blood into it? What would happen? And I'm like, good question. So all I did was I gave it like extra resistances, but normally they can't talk. I gave him the ability to talk, and every time he asked him to do anything, he'd be like, yes, master, I'll do that for you. And just kind of floated off in the voice of and the pit fiend they defeated previously, so the whole party the whole time's like, that thing's going to betray us at one point, isn't it? And the wizard's like, no, he wouldn't do that.
He would never. He's like, I would never do that.
I would never do that. Just like gave him like a speech impediment kind of thing. It's just like
you think I'm evil, but I am not.
He starts turning into chills.
Yeah.
I am a resurrected master.
Me being your friend forever.
I will protect you as you sleep, master. Feel free to sleep well. Nighty night.
Night.
I will sharpen your blades while you sleep, master.
I will watch you as you sleep to make sure no mosquitoes get you.
I will eat every little mosquito that lands on your body.
You just wake up to them getting getting rustled, and it's like, sorry, master, I had to slap a mosquito off of you.
Oh shoot, I'm sorry, it's a tangent back to another monster, but if a mosquito bites a vampire, they become a vampire. Because they get vampire blood.
Wait, what if they put that in another person and they accidentally become a vampire that way?
You get a mosquito vampire swarm, fucking.
That's a good question.
Like one sticks on you and you slap it and you're like, oh, I'm a vampire now, shoot.
Yeah. So bring it back to the topic, what happens to mosquitoes in the zombie world?
I think they would just drink like a rot and die.
Okay, that's more fair.
That would be my guess.
Like, I could picture it because the idea behind having like an undead thing or like a zombie version of something gives me the feeling that this is made with intent. So it's like a thing of, if a guy made a swarm of undead mosquitoes, they're probably going to give you like some fucking awful curse the moment they start. Either that or it's like they're just super ravenous. They're like functioning as a unit. It's like you remember One Punch Man when like that there was
she was actually really cool.
It's like that. Yeah. It's like it's just like dude walking in the street and it's like, what the fuck is that cloud? And then all of a sudden just gets descended on. Fucking these things drain all the blood, fly off.
It's horrifying.
Yeah, I remember reading that as a teenager. Be like, oh gosh,
Ooh, mama.
They brought her back.
Oh, thank God.
There was a tangent, but it was just like a thing of like, oh yeah, Mosquito Girl lived. Why? Because the artist just wanted to keep drawing her.
That's good. Oh my God.
Fair.
It was like, oh, that blood splatter. That was just her ass, like the big like mosquito sack. That was that. He smacked that. He smacked her ass really hard, and then she lived, and now she has to get like blood put into her.
She's one of two characters that have survived a one punch. Then.
Yeah.
Really?
Well,
it's her.
Punch was a slap.
It's her and the worm.
Oh, true. Yeah.
The worm lived. I was gonna say, instead of like creating a swarm of undead mosquitoes, you could just give normal mosquitoes Ebola and send them on, like, sick them on your enemies. You don't even have to do magic. Well. Just a normal farmer.
Yeah, just
like, they would spread disease. Oh wait.
Good.
Just
no more rabbits.
The classic way, if the players crave the realism, give him the realism.
It's too real.
This is too real. It reminds me of when my grandmother got Ebola and ate a bunch of gnats.
She just ate a bunch of gnats, but that was unrelated to the Ebola.
My grandmother was strange at the end. She's still here, but anyway,
she just has Ebola.
I don't know why that's messing with me so bad.
Sorry.
Just that image of someone eating an entire bowl of gnats like their cereal, just visceral.
It's just like a big patty.
Like that movie Snowpiercer. It's like, delicious little chewy bits. And that's right, it was supposed to be people ground up into their food, and then they turned it into...
Snowpiercer is people!
Yeah. And then they turned it into cockroaches at the end. So when they shot him reacting to like this little grinder with 1 million cockroaches in it making their food, he is reacting like it's people. He's like, it's like, no, dude, they're just eating bugs. Eating cockroaches, it's fine.
That's still nasty. That's still...
Ew!
Yeah.
Ew,
icky.
So this is where Willie gets his candy.
I don't wonka eat it anymore.
He says that. I love that line in the movie.
I love that line in the film.
He looks at the camera and he goes, I don't wonka eat it anymore.
I don't wonk any of this.
Well, back to the subject. So,
pitch us a question.
I wanted to talk about the other undead, actually. Like, in particular, how do y'all feel about liches and bone claws? Them, I think, are so cool.
I think they're fucking cool.
Bone Claw felt inspired. That was a goofy little choice where they were like, what if it failed, but you were still scary?
Yeah.
Just gotta... There's a million ways to get it wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Which I do like. I like having that variant because they do have that in the lore of like, oh yeah, it's real easy to fuck up being a lich.
Yeah.
Yeah, since it's so forbidden and so many people do it, it kind of feels like the Elric brothers, how like they tried to do it themselves and ended up obviously failing horribly. And so I kind of like that, just that aspect of just like still becoming like technically... I like that idea of that you technically became what you wanted, but you didn't reap all the rewards. I think that's
the hero's journey.
Yeah. It's a cool like idea of just like someone who was consumed by their hubris and just ended up crumbling under it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think any lich can ever actually win. I think the moment you become a lich, you do actually lose, because you can get what you wanted like easily. Almost every lich does. And then you have eternity to keep wanting. You're fucked. You just lose.
Yeah.
Like the Lich in Adventure Time. He killed everyone. And he was just super depressed. That was it. He continued being a Lich, which means he failed in, his hopes. And when he goes to meet his god that he did it for, he's like, what did you want from me? And the god's just like,
shut up.
Just flicks him. Yeah. It's like, why did you do that? There's that picture of the Lich who finally learned everything, and he's like flipping the page of his last book, and he's just like, "Fuck, man,
this sucks."
Yeah.
No, I just think they're a fun concept in general. Like, I don't use liches as much as I like using vampire lords. I don't know why. Like, liches I think are neat, but I feel like there's a slippery slope of you could potentially make them too broken when it comes to phylacteries.
Yeah. You got to make it narrative how they find out.
As long as you don't, as long as you're not
a little
like,
story.
Yeah. As long as you're not like an asshole DM about it.
Oh no.
Oh yeah, no. I just see so many people are just like make their phylactery a grain of sand and bury it on the beach. I'm like,
you can't do that. It has to be inscribed.
I think the dumbest but really neat green text that I think back to is like, oh yeah, a lich decided to like make his phylactery something impossible to get to, and it like hard evolves into like, yes, we turned it into this rock that he threw up in space, and then it's like this thing of like, oh, but now he has to, when he dies,
he goes
up to space, but it's like this thing of like, oh, so he comes down to the earth on like a meteorite, and it turns into this thing where it's like he becomes like this skateboarding god, where it's like he's like he fucking flies down. He's like, he goes, actually, you know what? Fuck all this other shit. This is way cooler. I love life now. This is fun.
Awesome.
that's fair.
I like the idea of a lich whose like phylactery is stuck in orbit, so every time he spawns at it, he tries to come back and then burns up in the atmosphere.
Fuck, I didn't think this through.
I did I did one thing I thought was really cool for phylactery. I don't know if it works, but who cares? It's my campaign. I had a lich who had his own island to himself, and a pirate came by, and he's like, "You're a really strong pirate. I'm going to make you my phylactery." And basically just like captured him, like locked him in stasis, and scribed like on his heart, and like imbued like his phylactery into him.
That's kind of sick. Okay.
Then he's like, "All right, go off now," because the party was hunting for the phylactery and trying to find out where it was, and they found like this pirate lord who became immortal because of the phylactery. So both.
What is your name? Phil Actory.
Phil Actory at your service.
Yeah. So him and the actual lich were kind of both locked in stasis. Of both of them were alive because of each other, and the pirate was locked into some situation where he realized that he's become a monster. But if if the lich dies, he dies, and if he dies, it's the only way to actually kill the lich. So the party basically decided to recruit him because they realized, okay, if we take you out now, we'll give the lich enough time to actually remake his phylactery. So would you come with us to help him take him down? And he's like, "I've lived long enough and literally feel nothing now, so sure."
I'm surprised the lich still feels anything. That guy's weird, but let's go kill him.
Yes, because it kind of became that thing of him being an immortal pirate. He was able to gain everything he ever wished for, but realized it wasn't worth anything.
This
Since
sucks.
he couldn't even enjoy
It was the friends he made along the way, and then they died.
Yeah. Yeah, so he left the empire to his brother, went with the party, and the party basically had to navigate this game of keep the lich alive, keep their pirate ally alive while taking out the lich to try and take both of them out simultaneously. But they were actually able to pull like crazy like level CR 25 medicine check to be able to like bring him back like and take out the phylactery at the same time. So that
Sick.
So that became a fun thing, and a pirate ended up staying with the party till the rest of the campaign. And
That's
my
really
wife ended up romancing him for some reason. I don't know. Like
Hashtag my wife fell in love with a phylactery.
yeah. Clearly, from me, she's attracted to weird people, so it tracks.
Yeah.
That makes sense. You are freaking creepy.
You're pretty weird, man.
Yeah. That's why we hang out with you, to look and laugh and point. I'm pointing right now. I've been doing this the whole time below the screen.
Put our big finger in the camera.
I go, tee.
Yeah, I remember the classic. I get on chat with Logan, and him and his fish are all staring at me, pointing and laughing. I wish there was one literally looking at the glass right now. That would have been so good.
It had a little demon eyes. It was cool.
Yeah, that would actually freak me out slightly.
From Shark's Tale.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh, that movie happens once a day in here. The whole plot of Shark Tale.
Is that how you keep your fish happy? You just like play it on VHS just to like show it to them?
I put it on repeat.
They all point and they go, "That's me."
It's me, IRL. I am the Shark Slayer.
They start building little penthouses in there. Sometimes I have to tear them down. They had a whale wash, and we had a long discussion where I was just like, "There's no whales. You can't want it. There's no reason to
You
set
can't
this
keep
up."
making fun of the fattest fish.
Yeah,
You still got to charge them rent to be able to take advantage of that gains, you know?
I do. The problem is, in their confined environment, the only thing that they can get is pretty much just poop and plants. So they pay rent in biomass.
But you can
gross.
put it in your garden and recycle it. You know, you got to keep that hustle going.
That's true. Bong water and fish tank water. That's what a garden should do. They say that's like one of the best things you can give your plants. I'm not kidding.
Oh, really?
Ain't no way.
Oh, I did not know that.
Okay, is this like a real fact, though, or just like the weed bro fact?
No, that's actually real. There's a few accounts where it's just like, yeah, my plant was fucking dead, and then I dumped my bong out on it, and now it's got 2 fruits.
Now it's high on life.
Yeah. Now it's like,
Man, now that I'm a homeowner, I'm realizing I'm making wrong decisions in life.
You are. You gotta get one.
I get a bong not for recreational purposes, just for the sake of my plant life.
One moment, hold on.
You burn it and you rip it, but you don't sip it. You just kind of like, how do I get this weed out of here? I want the water.
I light it. I just like I'm siphoning gas. Just go and then attach a hose to it and just like a vacuum cleaner. Just go.
We just do like closed throat mouth pulls. We go.
Just like smoking a cigar. I just let the smoke roll
Yeah,
in my mouth.
yeah.
I don't
Could
actually
have just
inhale
done
it.
that.
I should have known we somehow go from undead to weed, man.
Yeah, it's like smoking that stuff that turns your skin green and makes you do the Thriller dance.
Let's go. You know that I smoked one marijuana, now I'm a zombie. It's crazy.
At least that's what my poppy says. He says, Logan, if you smoke that, you're gonna stop moving.
You just want to lay around and crave the flesh of the mortal. It's rough stuff, man.
You guys ever use ghosts in your games?
Yes.
Cool. That answers my question.
Yes, Mario, I do. Next question.
Yeah, my favorite use of the ghost is in the one current campaign that I'm doing, where I kick off the adventure. I'm like, this guy wants to go to this place and he needs an escort. And they get him there, and he basically touches the thing that he wants, and his body explodes, and he turns into a ghost immediately. And now he's like their hub guy, their quest giver, so they can come back to him whenever they want. He's just like, just wish I wasn't dead. That'd be cool.
If you find a wish spell,
yeah, that's what he's waiting for. He's like, look, either go find where my body was sent in this like infinite realm, or like figure it out. I want to be back. I didn't want to die.
I'm sick of this shit, man.
Yeah.
I don't like hanging out with you people. You live here now.
Yeah, last session actually, I ran a bunch of ghosts for my party just because my party is like level 9 at this point. I ran like a Wraith and a few Spectres. I'm like, oh yeah, these will be fine. We got a Cleric, we're good. But they were doing the hit and run tactics of they were in a big old mansion. And they would phase out, whack them, phase in, but as they're phasing out, they're literally going into a wall, so they can't even hit them.
Ew, that's stinky. If they end their turn in a wall, don't they take bludgeoning damage?
Oh, they could.
Yeah.
It was only a few feet wall, so the party could perfectly knock down the walls if they took the effort to. They could.
I see. They just went on the other side. Those cheeky bastards.
Yeah, no, I wasn't like doing stone walls. They could like, they could run.
Stonewalled your party.
Yeah. No, they could run around into the rooms. They could corner the ghost there, but it became a fun cat and mouse game where these low-level monsters were actually slowing down the party a decent bit.
Ghosts are spooky.
Yeah, and I was using that Spectre
Yeah.
variant where they can make items levitate and just chunk them at the party.
Yeah, little poltergeists.
Yeah, poltergeists. So yeah, that was a lot of fun actually. I don't do the possession stuff much unless it's like a big fight, just because I know it's not fun when I try and avoid stunning and stuff like that, because that's just not fun.
Yeah.
You end up locked down for multiple turns. Like I'll use like a stun of paralysis every now and then, but possession I've learned just that's not fun to deal with as a player, or like as a DM it could be a good challenge, but
Yeah, it's not fun in combat or like dialogue scenarios either.
yeah. When I'm trying to focus on my player's fun, I'm having to think, yeah, I mean, I could do that, and that could make for a good challenge because you're going to wear out a lot of health that way, but that's not fun. So if I use Undead, I usually use like Spectres and Wraiths. I like Wraiths in particular, just aesthetic-wise.
Oh,
I
yeah.
think they're awesome.
Yeah.
They're simple, and they're kind of what ghosts should be, where it's like, I died, I know what my unfinished business is, I'm going to finish it myself, and then I'm going to rest, which is really cool.
Yeah.
I gotcha. The only other Undead I think we haven't talked about that I really like is Revenants.
Revolver. Oh, sorry, I must have been thinking of Revenant.
Yeah, because I think that's another thing I think of, kind of similar to Wraiths, in that they made me think of it, where that's them. They have unfinished business. Nothing's going to stop them from doing it, except like the person being slightly faster than them. Then that's going to be pretty stoppable.
And they're
actually.
screwed. Yeah. Just run, throw rock. Run, throw rock.
Or the Hallow spell. as they're just standing on the edge of the 30-foot radius, just like, I'm gonna get you. I'm gonna get you when you walk out of there.
I'm gonna get you.
Start pacing like a lion in a cage, just like.
When I get over there, I'm gonna.
When I catch you, Ricky. When I catch you, Ricky.
when I find you, Ricky. When I find you, Ricky.
There we go. But we're at the 40-minute mark, and I feel like we had a good, fun conversation about that.
What's up, 40-minute mark?
Yeah. All right, Undead. How we feel about him? Yay or nay?
I'm gonna give him.
it.
I think there's something missing. I don't think the concept is perfect, but it's a lot of fun to play with, and there's a lot of angles to play on it. So I overall would give him maybe a 3 out of 5.
3 out of 5? I'd say that's good. Oh, go ahead, Mario.
I'm gonna talk over you and
Do it.
I'd give him.
It's just what
I'd
I
give
do.
him like a good 4 because I feel like there's
Yeah.
a lot that you could do with Undead. They are also like that kind of. Sometimes when I like it's like that thing of when you want to have a villain or like a threat that the party isn't gonna feel like bad about killing or something like that.
Yeah,
it's like
there's no
it's like,
emotional turmoil
Yeah.
or like there's no gray area when you cave in a zombie's head.
Yeah.
these things
Feels
are
good.
just straight up malicious. It's like, why? Because dude, literally, it's just a body
A dead
that
guy.
rose out of the ground and wants to kill people.
Yeah, if we're talking about base, I'd say a 3. But all of the homebrew potential you have for zombies and like undead
Diversity, just
definitely a 4 because I feel like base skeletons and zombies can be a little boring. But you undead them, like soup them up with gear, or zombies to do like bile effects, or like do like the undead like said body horde, just like abomination stuff like that.
Oh yeah,
This just gave me a whole different like field of thought where you could work like based on different parts of a body or anatomy or what your body produces, and they could change the functionality of that. It's so I like that.
Like I said, I'm gonna make the intestines Hydra now. My party's gonna hate me.
I like being the stickler, but I think I'll bump mine up to a 4. I think there's a really wide array of stuff you could do.
Okay.
I made a. You remember? Do you know what corpse flowers are in like D&D?
The guys who collect bodies?
Corpse flowers, like
Corpse flowers. Yeah, I know them. I thought you said corpse flower for some reason.
Yeah, corpse flower. Do you know that guy?
I think you said corpse flower, and that
I
guy's in
believe
jail.
he's a right-wing
corpse flower.
grifter. Yeah.
Well, it's like because they can make like undead and shit. Like they can make zombies and stuff. And something.
Cool.
I remember using one that was just homebrewed, and I just made it straight instead of just a plant. I made it straight up undead, where it was just like this disgusting mass of zombies that would like pick up corpses that were nearby, and basically like there would be like this disgusting like sloshing that it would do, and then it would like basically birth out like a fucking zombie. Fucking, shit like that. I love messing with undead for that.
Okay. Very nice. All right. So that's our final rating. They're fun, but if you homebrew them, even better. That's probably going to be all our ratings, but still.
Yeah.
All right.
All right, I guess.
All right. Well, that was fun. Bye, guys.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.